Hi, I'm here today with one of my colleagues, Mike Zettermeyer, who's joining us from the UK. So Mike, I might start by getting your opinion on the level of acceleration that we're seeing in financial services in relation to the ESG agenda, climate risk in particular, and just your own views in relation to what extent is this a pull on the part of financial services firms in their own journeys to net zero, and a push in terms of regulatory mandatory requirements?
The regulatory requirements are accelerating, there's no question about that. I think it's a factor of both. Many firms have made significant commitments around their own transition pathway, set dates at which they will achieve either alignment with Paris or other scenarios. They've also made commitments around what they're going to finance. That is now intersecting with mandatory disclosures. So what we're seeing is in Europe and other jurisdictions, we are seeing regulators define transparency requirements. And what we're seeing now is those commitments organisations are made voluntarily, they are now having to disclose either at a holding company or in the subsidiaries, which gives transparency as to where they are on that journey. And I think that is what we're seeing is now the CFO, the CRO, the broader board are now starting to realise that they've made those commitments and now they need to be clear about how they're going to achieve them.
Mike, you mentioned disclosures, and obviously all disclosures start with data. So our clients are looking for new data, and that data has to be assured. What are the challenges you're seeing?
So I don't think it's unique to financial services. This is a broader economic challenge or in the economy, which is how do you get access to data? Regulators are definitely starting with the financial services organisations first because we provide the money to make provide liquidity in the economy. So financial services regulators have come, and also broader policymakers have come to the financial services and said, we need to understand what we are financing, whether that's from a greenhouse gas perspective or it's financing from environmental impact or social. As you said, underlying that is a set of data. Because we're financing somebody else's activity, we have to engage as a financial services provider with our customers to understand what they are doing, what is their baseline emissions, what are their activities today, and if they have plans to be able to reduce those over time to align with their own sustainability targets. Now, in many cases, in some businesses, we're in an economic environment, they go, well, this isn't very high on my list, but I, as a financial services provider, have an obligation to be able to understand how what I'm financing aligns to those targets and those commitments I've already made, which I now have to report, based on your first question. Determining what the client that you're financing, what is the activity they're undertaking? Is it sustainable? Does it map to the catalogue that you have defined? And how much of that is being used for a sustainable activity? And do you have confidence in that? You have to collect that because you're going to make it to disclose it. So that set of data you have to get from your clients. Now, there's also other sets of data that you need to get from third-party data providers. So particularly we're seeing this now coming to the forefront around people looking at what is the physical risk associated with climate change. The data we need for that is new sets of data. So it's things like what is the hydrological cycle, storms, rain, flooding, water flow. If you want to model that set of data to understand what the impact is around those activities you're financing and the clients you're financing, you need to collect that data. And that is new data in many cases to most financial services firms. And you have to make a decision. Do you bring that data in and you use that yourself and you have to have the capabilities to manage that data? Or do you go to a third party and you engage that third party and say, I need some modeling activity. Here's my exposures. Here's the sectors I'm in, here's the clients that I'm financing. You now tell me what those exposures and those risks are. You need to go and get that data from somewhere. You need to work with third parties to be able to do it. There are organisations out there who are developing capabilities to provide that, but you need to go and source that information. That's a new set of data you have to bring into your organisation.